Yeah, so we are back again, and just like we always say, it is just like a blink of an eye. 7 days is always like a blink of an eye, honestly. And we're back again. It's the One Family Under God radio program, live on Liberty Radio 91.7 FM. I'm hoping that you're doing good, and hoping that your day has gone on fine. Do not forget that this program is actually brought to you by the Global Peace Foundation Nigeria. Yes, and it's been the story of peace building and the gospel of peaceful coexistence that we have been preaching for the past few years. And today the conversation will be taking a different outlook. Yes, and that is because there is a project that the Global Peace Foundation Nigeria is collaborating to push as it is, and we'll be talking more about this particular project very, very shortly. But then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to let you know that I'm seeing him for the first time. Yes, this year I'm seeing him for the first time, and I'm talking about that person, but Mr. Abdul Ahmed. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Well,
how's the family? How is everything? How is Nigeria?
Alhamdulillah, we thank God.
And my very good friend is also here, talking about Mala Shativa. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
Yes, please, I'd like you to draw the microphone closer.
Yeah,
all right, so that okay, so we are talking about the RiseUp project. The RiseUp project. Let me start with you, Malam Abdul. I don't know I'm calling you Malam today. I don't know I'm calling you Malam today, but anyway, it's one of those things. All right, so the RiseUp. But anyway, let's continue. Mana Abdul, you're just about to tell us about the RiseUp project. What is the RiseUp project all about?
Thank you very much, our esteemed listeners. RiseUp project is a project that has been implemented in Kaduna State in collaboration with Back to School Education Initiative, sponsored by RiseUp, where we identified an issue with which we think an advocacy need to be embarked upon to actually address that challenge. And it is nothing but issue that has to do with education, especially among vulnerable girls. So the project aims to address the significant barriers to education faced by girls and other students from low-income backgrounds in Kaduna State. One of the most pressing issues is the government's withdrawal of funding for the senior secondary certificate examination fee, which has placed a heavy financial burden on families who can barely afford it. So this has led to many students, especially girls, being unable to sit for the NECO or SSCE examinations in the last 2 years. Based on the findings that we embark upon, and the data shows that there is a lot that need to be done. And our project advocates for the reinstatement of government funding for this SSCE fee, ensuring that all eligible students can access the exams without financial constraint. The financial barrier not only affects their immediate educational prospect, but also impact their future opportunities. We began this project in the month of September. We have reached so many communities with the advocacy campaign after conducting a baseline survey in the 3 senatorial zones of Kaduna State, and data revealed that there is huge gap between those students enrolled and those that were able to start for the examination fee as a result of government withdrawal of SSCE. So basically, this is all about the campaign, trying to advocate for the Kaduna State government to to reinstate the payment of SSCE fee policy, which was, put in total hold by the previous administration.
Okay, let me come to Malam Amadou Shetima with the recent changes in government leadership. Excuse me. Now, how do you see the current administration's efforts in addressing the NECO examination fee issue, and what progress have you observed so far?
Okay. Good evening to our listeners out there, and we are welcome to this week again. The new administration under Governor Malam Obasani has demonstrated a strong passion for the improvement of education in the state. We have seen positive strides in areas like infrastructural development and teachers training. However, one area that still requires urgent attention is the reinstatement of funding for the SSCE or NECO examination fees, which was unfortunately removed from the budget by the previous administration just before they left office. The current government has shown interest in addressing the issue, and we are hoping that with continuous advocacy, they will take swift action to release the necessary fund. We must remind them of the urgency as the registration for most especially WAEC examination is fast approaching. For the NECO is fast approaching, and for WAEC they are equally nearly to close the examination, the payment of WAEC, the registration of WAEC. So we have seen a very good strive from the state government. The state government is trying really, most especially in terms of education, because we have met so many stakeholders in the state, and we have seen how the government is putting a very good effort in the area of education. But we are advocating on behalf of those students that are in SSCE, that are in SS3, so that they can be able to sit for the examination, as this is their final year. We wouldn't want them to repeat, because most students that were not opportune to write their SSC at the time they are in SS3, normally they just leave the issue of education. They go to something else, and some of them may run into bad groups and become nuisance to the society. So we hope that the government will do the needful.
Okay. Let me come back to you, Abdul, because earlier on you mentioned the fact that this campaign you started since September last year, in advocating that the government comes back to the table when it comes to helping to pay these SSC fees. I mean, in my year, I actually benefited from this. And it will be really, really sad that this is basically the very little that our students can enjoy. Part of dividends of governance that our children can enjoy.
When we went to Kapanchan and we were having a meeting with critical stakeholders, one of the pastors stood up and said he will actively engage in this campaign because he was part of the beneficiaries of this SSC examination fee by the McCarthy administration. That if not because of that support, he wouldn't have been where he is now. So there are a lot of people out there that can actually give testimony to this.
Yes.
So it is beneficial to the society.
Exactly.
And no matter the problem or obstacles that the government noticed that push them to draw that support, I think does not commensurate with the benefit to the masses. So they should have a rethink and find a way to actually mitigate or address the loopholes that they think is a major issue for the withdrawal.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, so where I was headed is that you cannot do this all by yourself. You need collaboration, and you've mentioned it that you've been collaborating with the Ministry of Education to get this project on board and to bring the government back to the table. Now, so far, what has been the role of the Ministry of Education, and I think you, excuse me, and also the Director of Quality Assurance, I think also in the Ministry of Education as it is. So what has been their role so far, to actually advance this course?
Well, actually, they have been instrumental in advancing the course of reinstating the payment of the SSCE. We paid, advocacy visits to each of the agency, particularly the Kaduna State Schools Quality Assurance Authority. The DG is someone who has passion for education and has been instrumental in ensuring that education remains a priority in Kaduna State. His proactive approach in capturing the funding for SSCE fees in the multi-year budget was an important step in securing future financial support for these fees. Last year, when we met him and we presented our case, and he deemed it necessary to actually, support the move. And, as the Kaduna State Governor, Malam Obasani, has passion for education. Similarly, the DG also has passion for improving education in Kaduna State. And he said this is a good move. Last year, it wasn't captured in the budget. And this year, when the Kaduna State government presented their multi-year budget to the public consumption, we noticed, an amount of a certain amount was allocated for the external examination fee charges, which is a plus, and we can commend the quality assurance, especially the DG. His passion and forward thinking are crucial actually to moving this advocacy forward, and we recommend continuing his effort by working closely with the Ministry of Budget and Planning to ensure the timely release of the funds. Because capturing a budget is one thing, implementing it or funding it is another thing. And, Ministry of Budget and Planning will be instrumental in ensuring that or facilitating the payment of this SSCE fee. WAEC have started, but we know usually government, pay NECO examination fee for qualified public school student. So NECO registration is approaching the opening. Probably next month, students will begin to get enrolled, and we hope that the Kaduna State government will release that funding to support this student from low-income background. So the DG, Quality Assurance, and the Ministry of Education, they have been putting tireless efforts to ensure that equitable opportunities for all students is achievable in Kaduna State.
Okay. Now, let me still stick with you because recently you were involved in a town hall meeting in Ngwanshanu in Kaduna here, where alarming concerns were raised. So what are some of these issues that were witnessed there, and how does it highlight the urgency of this issue?
Well, thank you very much. You see, I've earlier mentioned that there is a serious issue with completion of schools, especially students from public schools. Based on our findings last year, we discovered that because we have gone to the 3 senatorial zones, we picked 3 and 10 public schools per zone to actually, conduct research. And based on our findings, for instance, in Kaduna Central alone, we picked just 10 schools. We marked them and carry out our research, and we discovered that out of 12,000 students enrolled, at the end of the year, we have seen a record of 4,000, only just 4,000 students that were able to start for the SSCE examination. Out of 12,000 students, only 4,000 were able to start for the SSCE. So when we deepen our research to be able to understand the causes that actually limit those remaining 8,000 students from sitting for the exam, there were so many factors. But one of the major factor was the inability of the parent to afford the SSCE fee. They were complaining that the fee is too exorbitant, it's too high for them to be able to pay or support their children. And some do complain that as a result of the cessation of the government support for NECO, so many students from low-income background could not afford to pay and start for the exam. So it was quite unfortunate. I think it was just last Saturday, this week, on Saturday, that they called for a meeting. Parents, SBMC organized a meeting with parents in Asama Umakarpi Ngoshanu. I was part of the participating members. Okay. So during the town hall meeting, in Ngoshanu, at Asama Umakarpi Secondary School, we were confronted with a stark reality. Out of 200 SSCE students presently that are in SS3, who are supposed to register for WAEC or NECO, only 3 were able to pay for the WAEC registration. Only 3. That was the reason. As at the time of the meeting, only 3 were able to pay for the registration out of 200 students. This was a shocking and disheartening situation, as it reflects the dire financial constraint families face in the community. Not only in Ngoshanu community, even other communities, the same complaint. So it wasn't until the school-based management committee mobilized support from local personalities that a few students were sponsored, increasing the number of students who could sit for their WAEC exam to just starting. So, leaving over 180 students still unable to pay.
That's serious.
This situation demonstrates the urgent need for government intervention. If this issue isn't addressed, we risk creating an educational divide where only a selected few have access to exams and future opportunities. And even the school will be at risk, because the limits, the minimum required student registration is 25. If they fail to meet up with that expectation, there will be some charges that they are required to pay. So this is the situation, and it reflects the current reality, and why all and sundry need to add their voices to this campaign. I know Obasani listened to the masses, and I believe that he will actually do the needful, and the Ministry of Budget and Planning as well will actually come to the aid of this vulnerable student.
You know what? It's quite Malam Abdul Shatima. I mean, this is this very serious picture that has been painted, and it's not really nice. It's sometimes we need this kind of reality checks to tell us the real situation of what is going on in the grassroots. And it restates the importance for education to be free at that level. When we listen to all of these things and the circumstances that are prevailing at the moment, how crucial is it for the government to act now, and what are the immediate steps that need to be taken?
Before I respond to that, may I add that if it continues like that in that school, it may even lead the WAEC to even suspend the center as a WAEC center.
Yes.
So that is the long at the long run. That is what will happen to the school, because it can be suspended to write. For them to even continue writing the WAEC, they will have to go another process. And I will need to clarify that Kaduna State government is trying, because education in Kaduna State is free. They have done their part by providing free education to all students, both males and female, from primary to secondary level. We know that the education is free. But the second part is because they are saying education is different, that is, learning is different from examination. Examination is another component of the education that we are advocating that the government should equally include to make it free all through. Because when a student get to JS3, JS3 junior secondary school level, they are writing the examination in all public school free. But if somebody is in the private school, he has to pay for his child the money for JSCE, because NECO write JSCE and the Education Resource Center from the state, they are the people custodian of that examination at the state level. That one is free. And we are advocating, since that one is equally free, so we are advocating for the senior ones to equally be free, to have their own to be free. We are happy with the state government, the way they do that. The state government action on this issue is very crucial. The longer we wait, the more students will be left behind. The deadline for WAEC is even fast approaching, and we know the time for registration for NECO is equally approaching. We needed the government to release the funds immediately, since it has already been captured in the budget, so that no student will miss out the NECO opportunity or even WAEC opportunity to sit for the examination due to financial constraint. It is also vital to ensure that the Ministry of Budget and Planning is aware of the urgency of this situation, and that they coordinate effectively with the Ministry of Education to ensure that the funds are not just captured, but also made available for the student to be able to write their examination. I have said earlier that education is free in the state, but we know how parents are even struggling to buy educational material for their students. I was watching in the social media just few hours back in Kano State, I think they are philanthropists or just an organization that went to a school, and they provided education material for about 300 students in public school that could not afford just a book and pen for writing. This is serious, because if they cannot afford an exercise book for their children totaling about 300 students, how can they be able to afford SSCE fee that is maybe above 25 to 30,000? 31,000 presently. That is for NECO. Okay, for WAEC is 31,000, and for NECO I think it's somewhere around maybe 28 or 29,000. So the government should please look onto this, and we are calling on all political office holders, most especially members, House of Assemblies, House of Representatives, Senators, to please look onto this issue and assist the government. If the government does their part, they should equally contribute their part and fill in the quotas.
I mean, what's a serious situation? I mean, it's just a very, very serious situation that we are facing right now. And as we attempt to conclude the conversation, I'd like to open the phone lines for our listener. You want to be part of the program, you have questions or you have contributions that you want to make to this conversation that we are having right about now. Why not, let's say from you, 0806-322-6467. 0806-322-6467. Or you can call 0708-956-9879. 0708 956-9879. Let's hear from you, the listener, so that you can be a part of the program. Now, Malabdu, while we wait for our callers to join in on the program, what would you now say to the state government, as Kaduna state government, to help push this process forward?
Well, thank you very much. You see, to the Kaduna state government, we urge you to take immediate action in releasing the funds that have been earmarked in the multi-year budget for external examination.
Please hold on. We have a caller here. Yes, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. You're welcome.
Thank you. I just listened to your program.
Yes.
I will have a question to ask.
Please, what's your name?
Okay, I'm Sylvester Auta from Kamazo.
All right, Sylvester, let's hear you.
Yeah. I just listened to the guest where she said that education is free in Kaduna. But I just attended a PTA meeting of the school where my children are, and even register the PTA have to buy, and some other items that education the ministry is supposed to provide. Now that I'm hearing that education is free in Kaduna State, can that be more? Can it throw more light on?
Is it a private school or a government school? Is it a private school or a government school?
No, it's a government school.
A government school, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I want to know those things that make the education to be free in Kaduna State. This is my question.
Okay, all right then. Thank you very much. Okay, and that was Sylvester, who was talking about the fact that, well, if education is actually free, then should there be any PTA payments and all of that? And he wants to know, what are those things that makes education free?
As far as I am concerned,
yes,
I know that in Kaduna State education is free. It could be an arrangement of the PTA that made them maybe give their own contribution to the education in that school, but I don't even think that the state government even allow people to pay even PTA fee in schools. And if the government will hear this and he can mention the school, they will go there and check. I know that because it is not allowed in Kaduna State to pay any money related to education. I don't think there is, because they have overhead. Yes. All principals who are giving overhead to carry out such kind of expenses he mentioned. Yeah.
We have gotten the same complaint during our baseline survey in Kapancha, that some people complained that at times they were asked to pay some certain fee or charges in some schools, and we don't know where that is coming from, but we know that is one critical issue that the government look into.
Okay, Mr. Sylvester, you may text the name of the school. You can text us the name of the school so that I can pass it over to my guests right here, so that they can do follow-ups on this matter while they are on this campaign. So, Mr.
As I was saying, the Kaduna State government, I'm urging them to take immediate action in releasing the funds that have been earmarked in the multi-year budget for the SSCE fee or external examination fee. This is not just a financial issue. It is a matter of equity, access to education, and the future of thousands of Kaduna State students. We acknowledge the stride Governor Obasani has made in education, but we need to see this issue addressed now. The students are counting on you to act swiftly, and we as development partners are ready to support and amplify this effort. I know even you, the media too, will actually be very passionate about supporting this campaign, because if these students are supported, it's the ripple effect, may go beyond their expectation. So we urge the government to release the funds for the upcoming NECO exams and to keep education a priority in the state. It is very dangerous for any government to allow this kind of situation where thousands of students will reach their final year but could not be able to write their exam. That certificate, the examination and the certificate is one key factor that could give someone the opportunity to proceed with their education or to get employed somewhere and to even think of moving forward.
And if the person wants to be president also,
exactly.
You need a certificate.
If you don't have, then as my colleague mentioned, some certain percentage of those students will come back to this and become nuisance in the society. Some will even get easily recruited by this criminal element, if they lose the opportunity to complete their education.
I mean, what a lot as you have said. So let's round up now, and I'll be asking you both for your final words, especially for our listeners. Let me start with you, Malan Shetima. Your final words for our listeners.
Yeah, I am saying we should all advocate for this issue. It shouldn't be an issue where only an organization will advocate for it. Because our children are in the school, and we needed them to have the opportunity to write the examination, and the government is willing to do that. If they have so many voices, then it will give the government the courage to do the needful.
Well,
to our listeners, I want to emphasize that this is not just about a group of students. It is about the future of our state. And every child deserves the opportunity to take the exams and to access better prospects through education. So we call on the Kaduna State Government, the Ministry of Budget and Planning, and all other critical stakeholders to act now before it is too late. Together, we can make a difference and ensure that no student is left behind due to financial barriers. So let's stand united in advocating for the future of our children, because when they succeed, we all succeed. When they fail, it is a failure to all of us. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdul Ahmed, for coming in today, and also thank you to Mal Amadou Shetima also for coming in today for this program, and what a conversation that we have had today. And a big thanks also to everyone who has been putting their hands together in the in the RiseUp project. Great job that you're doing. To our listener, thank you so much for joining us also, and to Global Peace Foundation Nigeria. In Nigeria, led by Reverend John Hayab, Joseph Hayab, sorry. We say thank you very much also. And we do this again by the grace of God in 7 days' time. We'll be right back. My name is Tunji Oyeleke, signing out and handing you over to Kabiru Turaki, who will be here with you from now till about 10 p.m. thereabouts. God bless you. Have yourself a beautiful evening ahead.
Rock City #1 radio, Liberty FM 91.7 Kaduna.
Values now waiting make us who we be. Our values now waiting decorate our nation within beauty, dignity and pride. The Niger Values Charter promotes our common